I just missed a flock of geese flying overhead. I was actually, man, you can't see them. They are out of sight. As far as I can tell this camera. But I was gonna set this up out here for a reason. This whole field, evidently it's got food for birds in it, rats or whatever. There's a couple of them that are lit up on top of this. That one branch out there, you could tell there's one on top of it. That's not a pine cone, that's a real big bird. But there was a bird that was out here on this branch, and I missed him, and another driver was just out here with me. And that bird was huge. I mean, I think it was a falcon, but it was something like, man, 2.5, maybe almost 3 foot in length. And that's not just counting a bunch of tail feathers. That thing was huge. So the body had to be 2.5 feet. So I saw a bird. I'll hook this up and I'll tell you a story real quick. If I get that bird, if he comes back, I'll tell you what he did. Me and this guy was talking before I got my camera, and actually we spooked him, I believe, and plus his dog. He was taking his dog out for a walk out here, and the bird took off. So I wanted to show this. I'll try to get this as level as possible for you. Okay, so the bird that I saw was actually, I'll get this level set up here as best as I can. It's difficult to show grade and scale. This is pretty level out here, but this tree right here, centered in the shot, is where there was a bird that was, man, I wish I would have got it a minute ago, and then the geese flew over top. The geese may have been, honestly, with their wingspan, you know, bigger than this bird, but this was like a falcon. It was odd, you know. There's a couple of them. I know those are, I think those are crows that just lit up on that post over to the left. They sit up on these posts here. I'll scan over to this post. They sit up on those posts over there next to the highway, and they swoop down and they catch the rats in this field. The reason I wanted to do this, so I don't know if you can actually see on the post lit up right now. Yeah, that's center shot. There's a couple up here on this post that just flew in and landed on that post. Those are just regular blackbirds. Okay. But basically the one flew from the center. I don't think they're going to leave and go down. The one of them though flew from the center of this place, from that tree right there, and I wish he'd come back. I might catch him in a bit. It might be a part 2 to this video, but I'm gonna tell the story now. He went from this right here and he flew over up into that tree, or that tree first, and then I think he went behind that one. He's somewhere over there, but this bird is huge. And it reminded me of one night where I was coming back from Denver, Colorado. I was in Colorado, if I remember right. I could have already crossed into Kansas. There's, on the right side, there's a huge double billboard. And then on the top of the billboard was a bird that was almost as big as one of the 4x8 sheets of plywood used to make the billboard. That's what I'm saying. Sitting on top of it, it looked about the size of 3 owls sitting on top of each other's shoulders. If that I mean big ones. And I'm not saying it was a thunderbird, because I don't think it was so much the wingspan of the bird. And I'm not sure, I'm not that much into bird watching. I'm not sure how big the biggest bird is. I don't know. What I do know is this bird was so big it was almost scary, and I have not seen it since. But they do have farmers out in Texas, you know, that have rabbits that are size of household dogs. And some of those birds are about that big too. So I haven't seen the bird come back out there in Colorado or Kansas. But I have seen some other ones, and I don't know what, I don't know if there's anything to the whole, you know, at least nothing still living to the whole legend of the thunderbirds that the Native Americans out west talk about. I mean, you have to believe them if they said they've seen it. It's difficult to describe. You know, they talk about a big wingspan and stuff. I'm just talking about these things, the bodies of them are so big, it's almost hard to believe that they can fly till you see them do it. But then it's hard to believe an owl could fly also. So if I don't get this bird coming back, you'll just have to forgive me for missing it. But I'd like to know anybody out there that could tell me what's the largest bird they've seen, other than like a whooping crane or some little skinny bird, you know, or not like a, you know, geese or anything like that. But the largest, I guess, falcon or eagle that you've seen, because I want to say that this was a falcon, and I think that the one out there in Colorado was a falcon, but it was so, man, it was so big. It's just it's hard to describe. But like I say, when I say he was almost as tall as the 4-foot sheet of plywood that they used on the billboard, and maybe a little longer with the tail, that's how big it was. So, and I had not been up, you know, very many hours driving, and it had not, you know, I had coffee, I was awake, I was alert. Yeah, I got on the radio and the guy says, yeah, I seen that thing was pretty big. You know, that's all you get really, is somebody confirm it. There was a guy out here a minute ago with his dog though, and I wanted to have him on the video to, you know, be talking about the bird, but then the bird flew off and he left. So, but it is a nice view of this big big meadow, I guess you call it out here. It's got a lot of cattails, and it's close to a decent lounge here. So let me know in the comments. I will put this video up. Let me know in the comments, what's the biggest bird you've seen? I've seen some odd stuff though. I've seen something they might have called a chupacabra. I've seen a dog that some kind of a odd hybrid of a coyote with no hair that was really scary. Run across in front of my truck. I tried to get it on the dash cam, but it didn't pick it up. This year now. I hit a porcupine once. He kept going, but half his quills was in my tire, and I don't think he liked me very much. You know, hit an elk once in the south. I don't know how I even got down there. It was huge. And the sheriff took it down because it just knocked the back legs off of it. And they used that to feed some poor families down there. That was good, you know, but it cost me 17, 19, what was it? I think it wound up being about $2,600 in damage to a front of a Mack truck. And yeah, those rabbits out in Texas though, those things are huge. If you've never been to Texas, if you ever get a chance and you go by one of those fields like when your delivery is, look out at those fields where they're growing vegetables, and those rabbits get huge. They eat that stuff all day long, and then they hop around, and I'm telling you, they're bigger than a lot of they're bigger than even some of the bigger Rottweilers that I've seen. I'm talking, they're big. When they can run fast, but when they hop, it's like the whole thing jumps. Like the whole body just flops in front of itself. It's really crazy. They're so fat. But I don't think I'm going to get the bird for you people. But yeah, let me know what's the oddest animal you've seen that doesn't just match up to entomology and stuff, you know. Somebody throws out Bigfoot, I'll let the comment up, but I ain't gonna believe you. I'm sorry. I can't believe you on that. But yeah, let me know what the biggest bird that you've seen is. Seems odd, but man, I wish you could have got a shot of this thing. He was as long as the branch was, and the branch bowed down when he got up on top of it. So that's it. I'm gonna let y'all go. We'll try to catch him next time I'm up here. Y'all stay safe. Peace.